Real driving test. And yes, Somiyan passed the test. Yes, he passes the test today. It's the 18th of December on 2024. And so in the week before, just before Christmas, really. And in the car is Somiyan, who is the learner or candidate, and the examiner. And also I'm in the car this time as well, because I'm sitting in the back observing at Somiyan's request. And yeah, so we've just turned out of the car park. We're just going to turn on to Brookside now in a few seconds. So this is Hinckley, isn't it? Well, it's Hinckley stroke Burbage, really. And you'll see the sun looks a little bit like it's going to be a problem for us at this moment. But actually, once we've turned out of here, you'll see it's no longer a problem. You can see very, very clearly. In fact, it's just dipped behind those houses now anyway. So we'll be moving off in a few seconds. Now on this test, there is a forward bay park, which he went forward, and then he had to kind of readjust by reversing back out again a bit, and then going forward again, making sure he's got in the lines. And that's absolutely fine. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not, because it is. It's not even a fault. And they'll also be following the satnav, and they're not following the satnav yet because the examiner's not turned it on. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the kind of outline of it, and at some point you'll see examiner's ghostly finger come into the screen and turn it on. Like I said, we're on Brookside and we're coming down to the traffic lights here, and we're going to be turning right into Rugby Road, which then brings you on to the roundabout where Sketchley's used to be. Is Sketchley's still there? I don't know if Sketchley's is a thing anymore. That's a thing. I know it's called Sketchley's, that area, anyway. So yes, so he passes. He's got 4 minor faults. That's all. There's a couple for hesitation, where you'll notice that he moves out onto a roundabout, and actually the car slows down. He's kind of seen his space, but as he moves out, the car slowed down slightly for some strange reason before he sped up and got himself around there, which was a bit of a strange thing that he did on the day. But that takes care of a couple of them, and we'll see if we can spot the rest of them as we go around. Like I say, there was only 4. He's being asked to follow the roundabout ahead towards the town centre, and that's why the background noise has gone quiet, because the examiner's speaking at the moment. I'm not allowed to publish the examiner's conversation, which I think is a bit weird, but there it is. That's the rules, so we're going to stick by them. It's actually the 3rd exit off of this roundabout, and the hansom cab is the 2nd, and this 3rd exit takes you under the bridge here. So it's under a low bridge. I'm not going to say make sure you duck, although I just did say it. But anyway, we've gone through the bridge now, and then we're going to turn right at the next set of lights. And what you'll see here is Somiyan is working hard to keep the keep clear, which you must do. Anywhere there's a keep clear, we've got to keep clear, and that's what we must do. And you can see he's absolutely done that. The lights are now changing onto green, and he's going to move forward. And here was the thing, I was getting a bit worried here, because he moved on and the one in front didn't move on, and it looked like he was going to stop on the keep clear, but in the end that didn't happen, so that's fine. And you see he's moved up to the line there, because he can't move into the junction yet, because he can't get to a position where he could possibly clear it. So he's waiting behind the line just in case the lights change back to red, and they won't do. There's going to be a green arrow that comes on, and he's going to take advantage of that, move forward and around. So he's positioned the car there absolutely beautifully. Absolutely perfect positioning there, Somiyan. Well done, matey. And now along here, along Hawley Road, the examiner is going to ask him to pull in and park. But as we get past this junction on the left, which is actually a car park, it will say pull in on the left near the 2nd lamppost. So, and that's what he's done. And you can see there's a hedge there. And this is quite important because he's asked him to pull in here, I think, because Hawley Road is a little bit of a slope. And just at this bit, it's more of a gradient. So it's kind of like a hill start. Well, it is a hill start, but he's made it a bit hillier, if you see what I'm saying, by getting him to stop here. So that's the thing to remember, isn't it? By this hedge, you can see we've rolled back slightly, but by this hedge, just by the side of this hedge, is where they're going to get you to do your hill start, or one of the places, if you come along Hawley Road here, which is the road where Tesco's is and everything else. Anyway, got through that bit. Maybe that was one of the minor faults as well, that little roll back there. But we know there's only 4. I'm going to follow this road around now. It gets a bit hillier here, doesn't it? But couldn't do a hill start here because of the lines and the zigzags on the road. And around this next bend. And we're going to be turning left off of here soon. And just wait, see where these roadworks are? So these roadworks are going to make us stop for a few seconds with the temporary lights. But then when we move on, the examiner is going to ask him to turn left. And he's not going to ask him yet. He's not asked him yet. You see, you hear the background noise hasn't dropped away. There, it's dropped away there now. And it's about now when he says turn left. So that's how close we got, really, to this next road. And it's the next left. It's quite a tight one to get around, and when you turn into this next road, which is Hurst Road, there's always cars parked on that side, so it may be that you'll wait a little bit there, but it didn't have to this time. But we'll be looking further up the road, and all the way along we can see the car appeared, but it's over the other side of the crossroads, and Somiyan's going to be asked to pull in and park on the left anyway before we get to that car. It's actually crossed the crossroads, is flashing us through. And so examiner's now saying pull up on the left, just behind the darker coloured car, and leave yourself enough room to pull out again. So that's what he's done. He's going to leave himself a car's length to pull out. That's exactly what you should do. And this is an exercise that will, as with the hill start, will happen always on every test. You'll notice they've parked next to a bit of dropped curb. Examiners are not really bothered about that these days. They used to be really bothered about it, but not anymore. In fact, mostly they say, don't worry about that. We'll just park it. It'll only be for a few seconds. That was a nice angled start, wasn't it, as well, actually, on a hill. So, you know, double whammy. And now we're moving forward. This is still Hurst Road, even though we've crossed the road. And when we get to the end, we're going to be turning right. Now, for people who have watched these videos in the past, they'll think that this route is very familiar because there's already two tests on the channel with this route. But actually, it's only the first half of it. So this one today, the first half is very much the same, and then the second half is very different. So it's actually a different route. They've just used half of the first bit of one, if that made any sense at all. Anyway, we're on Mount Road, and we know at the top here, there's no entry signs, and the examiner's not saying anything, you notice. He's just letting him get on with it. No entry signs, and he's gone around there, not gone down, no entry, so that's fantastic. And this brings us on then to a one-way street, doesn't it, this bit, past Mencap there. On the one-way street, there's the medical centre on the left. And of course, because it's a one-way street, he's going to be asked to turn right at the end of it. It always amazes me, that does, because every time, it seems to me, every time they get them on a one-way street, they always ask them to turn right, as if we'd not worked that out already, that will happen. There you go. Anyway, we're going to turn right at the end. And sometimes this can be a bit tricky to get out onto too, but today, not so much. And it brings us on then. So we've turned right from Hurst Road onto Castle Street now. And we're going up the hill away from the town. So on Castle Street, What they tend, when you're on this going in this direction near to the start of the test, what they tend to do is to get you to turn left at the end, or just turn left. Actually, he said, take the next left. And a good signpost is these two trees. Landmark is these two trees that are quite next to each other, because you will see it late, but you can use those trees as a guide. And once you're around here, then you come straight onto a give way. And now it's become like a Y junction, hasn't it now? So he's having to look over his shoulder, slow right down. He's moved himself out, and that's brilliant. He's got himself onto Spar Lane. So the first bit needs second gear, but the second part of that needs first gear when you emerge onto this Spar Lane. Spar Lane pretty clear today, sometimes can be quite busy. And we're going to get to these lights, and at the lights we'll be turning left. And this is where it starts to differ from the other test route that I was talking about earlier. The other test route we turn right there, this time we're turning left. All these tests have particular routes that they have to stick to, and that's why they can set the satnav, you see, because they know exactly where they're going to be going. I'm going to turn right at these lights. We're on Leicester Road, and we're coming down to these traffic lights here. This junction can be a little bit tricky, can't it, this one? Because actually you want to turn right, but when you get into the centre, you still can't really see down the road that's ahead of you. And so you have to be very, very careful. And what you'll notice is that Somiyan has gone quite a long way into it, just to make sure that he can see down the road ahead. Because when we're on green, they'll also be on green. And of course, if we're turning right, we'll need to give way to those people. So we see the van move in, and he's stopped a bit short there. Look, he's stopped a bit short, but he can probably see down that road. And now that's cleared, so Somiyan's going to move in, and he's going to go a long way past where the van was, and then he's going to have a good look down that road. You can see that the traffic was clear, or the one that was coming was a long way back, and away he's gone. So again, quite clever, quite intelligent driving, making sure it's clear before you commit yourself. Very, very important little phrase to carry with you. On Derby Road, it looks like there's a lorry pulling out in front, but he's not going to. We're going to follow this road around. As we know, as you get around this next bend again, there'll be some parked cars. There usually is anyway. There you go. And so you have to move. You have to be ready to move into that space to go around them. Bearing in mind that there's all traffic coming towards you. And now we're going to be turning right at the traffic lights here. And you'll see what Somiyan's done here is kept the junction on the left open, even though it's quite a long way back. It's quite a wide junction. He's still kept it open. So that's fantastic, isn't it? He is absolutely on form today. He's right, he's focused, he's right on top of the game, and he's going to make sure that he gets through this. And he's done actually really, really well. And I know I say that all the time, but, in general, it is true. But anyway, we're going to move forward here now. Lights have gone back to green, so he can move forward. Is he going to get through the lights before they change? The answer is yes, definitely. And he's got through there. And this brings you on to Ashby Road then. Now, along here, on this route and on other routes, and I've seen them park the cars along here, the test people, the examiners, get people to park the cars along here anyway, and that's what's going to happen now. He's going to ask him to pull up and park on the left in a few seconds. Let's see where we go, and he's just done it there, so there we are, and now he's going to start to follow the satnav. So you will notice the examiner's ghostly finger come and start to work the satnav. There it is. He actually is using the end of his pen to push the buttons. And then once he's set the satnav up, he's going to say then drive on when you're ready. And that's what will happen as well. Important on this Ashby Road, see how busy it is, that when you do go to drive off, you make sure there's a nice space behind you, or at least one that's big enough so that when you pull off, you'll not make anyone else slow down. And that's a mistake that I've seen a lot of people make, or with my learner drivers, they'll try and put, because it's busy road, they'll want to get on, but it's important to make sure that there is a space behind you. That's that. So they're going to pull off in a few seconds, and we can see the indicators come on. He's checking his blind spot, and away we go. And that's nicely pulled away. One of the things about these videos, you can't see what's behind. I have got a camera that does allow that to happen, so I may set that up for the next ones. But anyway, we're going to be going, the satnav is going to now kick in. Sally's satnav is going to guide our hero Somiyan around the rest of the test. Obviously we're waiting at these lights, didn't need to actually stop. And Sally should start to say, there you go, so we're turning left. So we're on Ashby Road, and we're going to turn left here, just, short of the Asda turn really. We're going to turn left into Netherley, I think it's called Netherley, yeah, Netherley Road. Very often they'll get you to do an angled start along Netherley Road, but that's already happened, so don't need to do that this time. And sometimes they'll get you to do an emergency stop along here, which always seems a little bit busy for me to be doing that on this road. And but anyway, there you go. That's not happening today. There is no emergency stop in this test, so you didn't have to do that this time. It's following the road around to the left here. Quite a blind bend, so he's taking his time a little bit, and you can see it's all clear now, and you'll see the speed will pick up a little bit here as well. We're coming up to a crossroads, aren't we, here with Netherley Road. And when we cross the crossroads, we'll be on to Tudor Road then. So here we are, we're coming up to the give way lines. Coming up to the give way lines, you'll see he'll slow right down. He's going to creep up, look, and creep out. And there's another one for you. When you come to the end of the road, or give way lines in any case, creep up, look, and then creep out. And make sure you do that look before you cross the line. Anyway, as we come along Tudor Road, we know, don't we, that they've got these kind of give way lines that are just in the middle of the road. Here they are, look, here's the give way sign. It's saying in 50 yards. And it's just down the road here. You can see the car ahead of us has stopped and is waiting. We're going to move up. We're kind of deciding at this moment whether we can get through. It's obviously decided that he can do, and that's quite right. He's not made the oncoming vehicle slow down, so that's good. There was enough room for us. So he's gone through there. And there'll be another give way, but it will be a give way for the people opposite. So we will have the priority here as we go through this one. No one walking toward the crossing, which is good. Get through that little kerfuffle. And here's where the opposite, the people oncoming, have to give way to us, as we can see from the sign there. Now the next junction is a bit of a tricky one as well.
After 200 yards, bear right.
So it's a bit of a tricky one. So we're coming down to the end of Tudor Road, down the hill, and he's going to turn right. And the first bit is very basic. But the second bit isn't basic at all. So again, it's in two sections. Here's the first section, second gear. And now we'll need to slow right down, get first, and also steer to the left before you go right quite a bit to try and square the car up to the line as much as possible. And that is so that you can see out of the near side window. The near side being the side near to the curb. So you get a better view along the road either way. And very often it's very busy here and you can't move out straight off. And he had to stop, and now he's moving on again. Now the satnav is going to, this is Stoke Road, so the satnav is going to get him to take the second left on the roundabout here. And it's important to bear in mind. So the first left is going to be the one for Halfords, which we're not going to. We're going to be taking the second left, which is going to take us onto the ring road. So it's important that you don't kind of...
After 200 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the second exit.
Yeah, so it's important that you don't start to indicate to go left now, because that would imply or suggest that you're going into Alfords, which we're not going to today. We're not going to Alfords today. We're just going to take the second exit, which is actually Normandy way. And now he's slowing down and he's looking for a space. From back here, he's looking for a space, and absolutely you can see one on the roundabout, and he's moved in, so it's past the first exit. Started to indicate then level with the first, and then he's turned left onto Normandy way. And this is where the examiner is going to ask him to show him how to operate the or demist the back window. So you'll hear the noise drop out again in a few seconds, and this is where that's happening. And he's now saying, okay, thank you very much, and away we go. There's a little bit of a wobble there, not too much, not too bad, but there we go. He did have a test before where he had to do that and hit the curb. But anyway, we'll breeze over that. He's done absolutely brilliantly today, and we're coming up to the next roundabout, and we'll be going straight ahead. Just a point here: the speed limit.
And take the second exit.
The speed limit on this part of Normandy way, apart from on the roundabouts itself, the speed limit is 40 miles an hour, isn't it? Not now because it's a roundabout, but when we get to the next, when we come off the roundabout and carry on along this road, it's going to be 40 again. Now, from my position at the back of the car, I couldn't see the speedometer because obviously Somiyan's in the way there. But I could see the satnav, and the satnav at this point is saying 34.
Cross the roundabout and take the first exit.
34 miles an hour. And I noticed that according to the satnav, anyway, he never got above 34 miles an hour.
Cross the roundabout and take the first exit.
So later on, I went down this road with somebody else, and I just noticed that while the speedometer on the car was saying 40, the satnav was saying 34. So that's the point. There's a discrepancy there, isn't there, between what the satnav is saying in terms of your speed and what your speedometer is saying. So always stick by the speedometer, because that's going to be the lower speed, if you like. Stick by the speedometer. And even though the satnav said 34, the actual speedometer said 40, so he was absolutely fine. He wasn't going too slow along this road. And I know that was a ramble.
After 300 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit, then turn right.
I know that was a ramble, but important point, I think. Anyway, we're going to turn left and then right.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit, then turn right.
But what's going to happen here, Somiyan's going to turn left, fine, no problem with that. Right, roundabout's not that busy anyway, and he's going to find a space and he's going to move into it. But the satnav is saying, but then turn right. And actually he's missed that right turn. And all that happened then is that the satnav kind of reconfigured itself. There's the right turn. We've sailed right past it. Satnav is now going to reconfigure, and she's going to get him to take the third right, which is going to put him back on the same route.
After 200 yards, turn right.
Going to put him back on the same route anyway. So that's another point. You can go wrong with the satnav as long as you do it safely, which obviously that was. As long as you do it safely, it's not a problem. The Sally satnav will reconfigure, and away you go. And that also is not one of the faults. So we're going to move into here, into, I think it's called Brodick, this next road. And they're going to pull in and park on the left. Yes, it is. It's called Brodick Road. I'm going to move and pull in and park on the left. Just in a random place. And they'll get you to do this a lot, won't they? Just to get you to pull in. And then he's going to say, drive on when you're ready, which is what he's going to do then. Okay. So you can see he's letting quite a lot of traffic go past. And again, this is another one where you're just going to make sure that when you pull out, you don't make anyone else slow down. And also that you check your blind spot and indicator as well. You can hear the indicators gone on. Blind spot's being checked and checked again. He's checking it twice, which is, you know, it is Christmas time. So, anyway, that's going to take us now around this parked car, isn't it?
After 300 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Now on Broddock Road, there's a car park on the left where this park is, and they'll very often get you to pull in there and do a manoeuvre, you know. So that's one they've started to use, just on the left there, but not today. They're going to use
left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Going to use a different car park. But anyway, we're going left on the roundabout here. So on that Broddock Road, expect to be pulled in and expect to use that car park to do a manoeuvre. But anyway, it's brought us down onto Langdale Road now. And this Langdale Road's quite long, and there's cars parked periodically, isn't there, along it. And you can see that Somiyan now is just holding back, deciding what the other car's doing, seeing that he's actually waiting, and then so going through. And that's very nicely done. Nice forward planning there, nice bit of forward planning. And as I always say, we know that that's what the test really is all about. As long as you can forward plan, you know, respond sensibly and control the car, you've got pretty much a good chance of getting through, haven't you? He's got a nice position on the road. You see he's kept out there because of the white car, so he's not moved back in. He's just kept himself out in the road, and now he's going to move back in, and that's fine, isn't it? Again, so we're going to follow this bend around to the right. We're still
After 200 yards, bear right, then at the end of the road, turn left.
We're still on this same road, and there's a quite a sharp bend here, isn't there? It's quite a sharp bend as you come down to this bit, where I think perhaps they changed the priorities at some point. But anyway, here we are. We're going to just be going round to the right, and that's nice as well, isn't it? Did you see that he held back for the bus because the bus was taking up a bit of his lane? Very, very good. He's gone round there now, and this is a hill to climb. This is quite the gradient, this bit. And when we turn left at the end of this, it will be almost like a hill start again. So if you
at the end of the road, turn left.
If you can keep the car moving coming up to this particular junction, it's an absolute bonus, because if you have to stop, it's quite the gradient. So let's see what he does. He's moved up. He's been able to keep the car moving this time. Obviously the road is clear. This is Coventry Road. It's quite a busy road, isn't it, in Hinckley / Burbage. Never quite sure which you're in. I don't know where one ends and the other one begins. But along this Coventry Road, we're moving towards town now. He's going to be asked to turn left into a car park, and it's going to be opposite a wooden bus stop. So it's like a wooden kind of shelter, bus shelter, and it's directly opposite that, and it's on this bend, and you don't see it until quite late. And here it is. So a tricky one to get into, really. And we've come into here. And here is where he's going to do his forward bay park. And his forward bay park, he's not going to get it quite right. So he's moved in there. He's kept the car nice and slow as he's moved in. Very, very good. But he's realised that actually one of the wheels is on the line. So what he's going to do is going to reverse back, correct his position, and then move forward again. And I have to say that is absolutely fine to do that. If you do feel that your positioning is wrong when you're doing your parallel park or your bay parking or whatever, you can adjust your position. So in this case, you can move yourself back, find a better position, and then move forward again. It's absolutely fine. There's no problem with it. So lots of people I have that I teach to drive tell me that, my instructor told me I've got to get it right first time. That's rubbish. you don't. It's better if you do get it right first time, obviously, but it doesn't matter. It matters more that you know how to correct yourself, and you have the presence of mind and the kind of, the kind of composure to do that, particularly in this kind of stressful test situation. And that's absolutely what he's done. It was a little bit stop and starty there, wasn't it? That was due to other people in the car park, having to wait and, and give way. But here we are. So they've stopped now. The examiner said, okay, is that it? And Somiyan's gone, yes. And then he said, okay, reverse out and then go back towards the gates that we came into in that way. And then we'll go back onto the main road and turn left. But here we are, he's reversing out now. He's reversing out quite nicely. And he's stopped. And then we're going to pull forward again. So please remember, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get it slightly wrong. You can correct it. Take the pressure off of yourself. There's no need for it. Anyway, we're going to turn left when we get onto this road here, back onto Coventry Road then. I know that sounds like I'm on my soapbox, and it is a bit of a bugbear of mine because I've been on courses, I've been on courses, and someone has said to me, I know someone who used to be an examiner, and they said you can't do that. It's rubbish. You can do it. Do it. Please do it if you get into trouble. Anyway, we're going to follow this road ahead along here now. If you heard that in the background, that's my dog barking. I'm hoping there's no one coming to the door because he goes mental then. But no, I think we're all right. So we're following this road ahead here, and the satnav has asked Somiyan now to follow the road at the traffic lights, to follow the road around to the right, and then turn right. So she's not asking him to turn right, and that's an important thing because we're coming to a crossroads.
Bear right, then turn right.
So he's going to bear right. So he's not going down the road where, let's see if we can see any cars going down there. He's not going down the first right, but he's going to go past this junction, down to the next set of traffic lights, and then turn right from there. Okay. So that's why she's not said turn right, but she's said, follow the road around to the right, whatever phrase she used, follow the road around to the right, but then turn right. So she's talking about the second set of lights there. Anyway, we're waiting for the lights to go green now. Not doing that yet. You can see that it looks a bit like we've stopped a little way back, but that's due to the foreshortening of the angle of the camera, really. A bit of that. And it's nice that he's stopped a little way back as well. You definitely don't want to get too close. But let's just see. These lights will change in a few seconds. They do seem to take a long time, these ones do. Got a jogger running past. I'm just filling now, aren't I? I'm just filling, making sure there's no dead air, as they say. Okay, the lights have changed now. And we're going to just be moving forward. And we're going to follow it round to the right here. We're not going to be turning right. Actually, we've gone through an amber light there. But he was right on top of it. So again, that's fine. And now she's going to say, turn right. Come on, Sally. And so we'll be turning right there. And that's going to take us into Rugby Road. Moving up.
Turn right, then keep left.
There you go. Turn right, then keep left. So you notice how she's giving two instructions there. So at the last junction, follow it round to the right, and then turn right, and now turn right and keep left. And that's because they're all quite close to each other. So this way he's got to keep left is kind of just on his approach to Sainsbury's there. And that's because there's two lanes here, and they go in different directions. So the left lane goes straight ahead, the right hand lane turns right at these lights, which don't apply to us, but the giveaway lines do. And so he's slowing down, he's creeping up, he's having a look, and when it's clear, he'll move on, won't he then? There you go. He's got himself now directly into the right-hand lane because he knows, because we've been here before, that the left-hand lane only takes you into Sainsbury's. You don't have to change lanes anyway. So he's just moved directly into the right-hand lane, which was directly in front of him. So absolutely fine with that as well, actually. So we're just going to follow this road around. We're absolutely on Rugby Road at the moment. And we were on Rugby Road before, so you'll notice, you'll know.
300 yards, go straight on, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
You know that we're coming back toward the test centre now. So we've gone on a big like right-hand loop really, and we're coming back towards the test centre here. He's stopped a little way back there because there's an entrance on the left and he's kept that open. So that's very, very good. It's not even a junction. That's how good he is at this. It's not even a junction, but he's kept it open just in case vans want to come in and out. Obviously, there's already a van there. Don't know what it is, but it's obviously some kind of entrance. Anyway, we're gonna go straight ahead at the lights here, and then go straight ahead the roundabout as well. Are they going to stay green? Will they go back to amber?
Go straight on, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
So they did go to amber, but it was just as he was crossing.
200 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then turn left.
So that's fine. And again, you'll notice that she's given him two instructions there. Roundabout, take the second exit, then turn left. And that's because the left turn
Cross
is...
the roundabout and take the second exit, then turn left.
And that's because the left turn is quite close to the roundabout. And actually, the examiners will do that as well. If they're kind of directing, and you know they want that's kind of their way of letting you know actually they're quite close. So do be careful.
Yards, turn left, then you have reached your destination.
I'm going to be turning left here, and so this is Rugby Road, and this is going to take us back on to.
Then you have reached your destination.
It's going to take us back onto Brookside, where the test centre, test station, however you want to phrase that, that's where that is. So we're very, very close to the end. And it's been a nice drive, you'll have to admit. It's been a very, very nice drive. He's moving forward here. Around we go, back onto Brookside.
You have reached your destination.
And now the background noise will go quiet because the examiner is now saying, that's the end of the satnav. I'll direct you from here, turn left into the car park. So he had a lot of work to do that day, didn't he? So anyway, we're going to turn left into the car park. And they always get you, when you come back from your test, they always get you to drive onto this gravel bit. And he's just going to hold back and let this car reverse out, so that they can make their way out, leave a space for Somiyan to move forward there. Certainly passed, and that's brilliant, isn't it? So that's the video of when Somiyan passes the driving test. What a star. And there he is, look, very proud with his pass certificate. And well done, Somiyan, you deserve it, matey. You worked really hard. It wasn't always the easiest to learn, but brilliant, well done. And that's that video. So I shall see you in the next one, and hopefully we can have another pass. Fingers crossed. Cheers, guys.